Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I actually had a different video planned for today. Actually, I wanted to review this guy. This is Friedrich. It's a German luxury grade hair wax. But then I noticed that they have not yet finished their international site. So I have shot already a video about this in German for my German audience. And they asked me if I could also shoot a video in English for the international audience, but the website is not yet finished, so I guess we'll have to wait for about 3 to 4 days, so until mid of next week, and then I will be able to upload the video that I shot about this product. So that got me thinking, and that got me thinking about what could I do for today, because I wasn't really too regular with uploading videos, and I desperately want to change that, or have been wanting to change that for weeks. So I thought, why don't I just talk about something different for today? My interest in hairstyling and grooming started to develop when I was 22, so that's 4 years ago, and it kind of went hand in hand with my intention to find my own style or to develop my own style. Because all of my youth, so mainly the time when I went to school, I was used to doing things in order to make people like me. I did things that I thought were cool, and I really wanted to be liked by people during my school career. Then when I switched to university, my whole kind of personal development thing got started, basically, and that's when I discovered fashion, or in general, like clothing that I would buy because I thought that it looked good, not because I thought that it would make other people like me. And today I got reminded of that phase of mine when I was young and I was doing everything in order to be liked, because today I was actually cutting my beard when this thought came across my head. Because I was looking in my mirror and I was like, is it symmetrical, or are there any stray hairs or something? And then I was like, well, who notices? Who does even notice if there is a little asymmetry? Maybe I'm just a little bit too harsh with myself. And that kind of got me into thinking, okay, how did this whole style thing even start with me? And what is actually the best point to come from when you are trying out different stuff? And that's what I want to talk about today. And the first thing that I want to mention is that you should never do something because you think that it will make other people like you, but instead you should look for people that like you because you do things that you like. And that's kind of the way that I want to phrase it. This thought is obviously my personal conclusion of my school career, and especially the years that followed, because over the past years I have really learned to value this idea. So I've really learned to go look for people who like me, who are like-minded, and not to go look for people and then try to change yourself to match their expectations. So the fun thing is that when I was trying to be liked by everyone else, I didn't have that many friends. I was kind of getting along with everyone in school, but I didn't have like that circle of close friends that support me and that are honest and that would stick to me no matter what happened. And then when I decided to try to find my own path in life and try to find out who I really am and what I really want to do or see or look like, I started to do my own thing, and therefore things changed very, very quickly. First, I had to make some sacrifices. I had to say goodbye to some people who I considered back then to be quite close friends, just because I discovered that I didn't have actually the same interests, and the only thing that kept me in that circle was the idea that they were close friends and I actually didn't have that many things in common with them. One example that I can tell you of from that time has to do with going out, because when I was around 19 or 20, I was used to going out with this circle of friends of mine or of acquaintances And the only thing we were doing all night were drinking and kind of dancing in a closed circle at the border of the dance floor. Now, I'm not saying that this wasn't fun for me to some extent, and I'm also, of course, not saying that you shouldn't enjoy these kinds of activities, because if you like doing these things, then it's perfectly fine. But I just quickly discovered, as soon as I gave these things some thought, that I didn't really like it that much. I realized that I didn't want to get totally wasted every 1 or 2 weeks, and I realized that clubs were about something different for me than about standing in a closed circle of guys at the edge of the dance floor. I'm a big music lover and I really like meeting people, so that wasn't just doing it for me. So as I just said, I decided to give this thing a go and cut ties with these people in order to make some space for new people to meet that hopefully would meet my interests a little better. And just to be clear, the cutting ties thing was basically just me saying no a couple of times when they wanted to go out and get drunk. And I soon didn't hear too much from them anymore. And the contact has completely ended. And I haven't really heard anything from them over the past years, which also kind of sheds a different light on my idea back then that these were close friends of mine. So just try to remember, don't be a people pleaser. Try to find your own way and listen to your inner voice, because that's going to draw people to you that are like-minded. And don't try to change yourself in order to find people, you know, like an abstract mass of people or something. The second thing that I wanted to put out there addresses the question that I asked myself earlier today. The question if people are going to notice if I cut my beard asymmetrically, or if my hairstyle has dropped a little bit since this morning. And I gotta tell you guys, I believe that mostly it's just all in your head. Back in the days when I was a little younger, I used to feel great when my outer appearance was great. So when I had just bought new clothes, or when I was coming home from a visit at the barber shop, even though I had a horrible hairstyle back then, but also when my acne, for example, wasn't too strong, I used to feel great. I felt more confident than usual, I was having more fun in general, and I was really having a good time. On the other hand, if that was not the case, if, for example, my skin was dry and flaky, or as is so often the case today, my forehead was greasy, or my hairstyle just wasn't, I don't know, to my content, I used to not feel that great. To be honest, I believe that this behavior is somewhat normal, at least to some extent, and I'm also sure that most of you guys and girls have probably felt like me in the example at some point in your life. But as a matter of fact, nobody sees you as often as you see yourself. And also nobody knows yourself as good as you do yourself. So if you watch in the mirror, of course, you will see different things than someone at work or someone who you will just see for a few hours each day. Not even to mention that these people maybe see things differently than you. They put emphasis on different things than you do. The thing I'm trying to get across is you don't know how other people perceive you, and most of the time your criticism is your criticism. It's only in your head, and probably only you notice these things about you. And that's also where we come to the third thing that I wanted to talk about, which is, if it's not in your head, you can at least solve it in your head. And that kind of closes the circle with the first thing that I told you, which is never trying to make everyone happy and trying to find your own thing. Yeah, I was kind of maybe lying or exaggerating a little bit, because there are some times when people notice, and there will be times when people even tell you what they think about you and what they think about your looks. especially if you're trying to do your own thing and find your own way. So if the path that you try to follow interferes with someone else's idea of what looks good, then sometimes, yeah, people are going to notice and people are going to tell you. But even then, in that case, you can solve this problem in your head. If you have a very strong idea of what you like and how you want to see yourself dressed or groomed, for example, then the opinions of other people are not going to matter as much anymore. And that is kind of the long-term view that I want to also tell you about in this video, because of course there is the intention of trying to find your own style. There is the intention of trying to sculpt yourself the way that you want to see yourself. And as promising as that may sound, I can imagine that you maybe are still scared to try something and to take the first step. But let me tell you, if you have been doing this for a couple of months only, you will start to notice that it feels really, really good to do you and to do what you think is great. I've had some phases in my life where I wore pink t-shirts just because I wanted to see if I liked myself in a pink t-shirt. I'm really not kidding here, because I actually went out in a couple of clothing items that I would never ever touch again today. But I just wanted to know if it is just me thinking that other people look at me, or if it's actually other people looking at me and judging me. And as a matter of fact, even if I was dressed in a way that I then considered to be daring, or even if I was styled in a way that I considered to be an expansion of my comfort zone, the reactions from other people were never as strong or as hurtful as I had expected them to be in the first place. And also, when I tried out different things, I soon realized that it doesn't really matter what the hell I'm wearing or how my hair looks, because the person doing these things is still me, and I don't change even if I were to dress in a completely pink costume or in one of those sexy mankinis. So today I have arrived at a point where I consider my style to be a part of my identity. That means I wear stuff that I think is cool. I style my hair in a way that I think suits me or that I think looks cool. And if I, for example, want to try out something like the beard stash, I just do that, no matter how many people online, for example, under my YouTube channels would say that looks like rubbish, you know? So since this video already feels like it's 20 minutes long, I just want you to know that the whole styling and grooming part is not about trying to appeal to other people, it's about trying to appeal to yourself. So if you find yourself looking for that Zayn Malik hairstyle tutorial, just give it a good think if that's really how you want to look like, because you think that that's cool. That should always be, at least in my eyes, the point from which you are coming from. And I can tell you, over the past few years, I have done things that I would not do again, but ultimately, I've also found myself in the process. And in my eyes, that's what it's all about. So thanks for watching this very unconventional video for this channel. I hope that it wasn't too boring for you, and of course I would love to hear your comments about this topic down in the comment section. So feel free to just write down whatever you want, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.